Smart art are basically diagrams. Sometimes it's more effective when you're trying to present a complex structure or a complex process to an audience to use a diagram rather than to use paragraphs. What I'd like to do in PowerPoint is I'd like to actually insert a new slide. So I'm going to go to my Home tab in the ribbon, click the New Slide button, and I'm going to just choose a title and content. When I click on the title, I'm going to type the team. And when I look at the content side of this slide, I've got 6 buttons. I can create a table, a graph, smart art. I can even insert a picture or online pictures or even a video. I'm going to start by replacing the bulleted text by inserting a smart art graphic. When I click this, I'm presented with all the different types of smart art objects you can create in PowerPoint. And as you can see, there's rather a lot. They're then categorized into list diagrams, process diagrams, cycle diagrams, hierarchy diagrams, and even diagrams that include pictures. So let's start maybe with a hierarchy, and I'm just going to go for the first one. When I click the first one, it's called Organization Chart, and I'll click OK. Immediately gives me a template organization chart that I can start filling in. So we have at the very top the instigator. Then we have their assistant. And you just type your text. I'll click in this box and put the person in charge of costumes. I'll click in this box and type the person who is a driver. And notice that it just automatically, oh, there's a spelling error there. That's why there's a red wiggle. So I'll right click and I'll left click assistant to fix the spelling. I'll click in this box and type socialite. So that's fine. Now I need another box. I need a box to the right of socialite, or shape. So I'm going to hit the drop down on add shape, and I'm going to add a shape after, and it'll be after socialite. And there it is there. And that's the broker. Now I'm going to click on costumes because I need to add a shape below costumes. So I'm going to add a shape below. And this particular person is in charge of makeup. Now I need a shape after. Add a shape after. And this person's in charge. This person is the hairdresser. Now these two shapes underneath costumes, I would like them to not be what they currently are, which is right hanging. I would like them to be standard. So you click on costumes because you're about to affect what's under costumes, and you go to the layout button on the Smartart Tools Design tab. At the moment they are both right hanging. If I chose left hanging, they'd look like that. If I go back to layout and choose standard, they'll look like that. So you can change the layout of boxes underneath a shape by clicking on a shape and clicking the layout button. I'm going to click on driver and I need to add a shape below. The person below is the navigator. And here's another spelling mistake. Right click, hairdresser. Now I don't want this kink, I want them directly below, so I'm going to click on driver and I'm going to change the layout to standard, and that will put the navigator directly under the driver. So that's basically it. It starts with a template of boxes and you simply add more shapes after, before, above, below, and an assistant looks like their assistant. It shoots out the side of a branch. Now some people type directly in the box and some people interact with what's called a text pane. If you hit this little symbol here, you will bring up the text pane. And so you can actually interact and just type directly. If I was to click at the end of broker and press enter and type testing, notice there's a shape there. If I was to delete it, notice the shape disappears. So you can close the text pane by hitting that cross. Also, the text pane button is up here on the Smart Tools Design tab. It brings up the text pane and sends away the text pane. You can actually click on a particular shape, such as navigator, and if you wanted to, you could promote them up to the second level. And now they're sitting on the second level. Or you can demote them and put them down to the third level just by demoting them. So you can promote and demote. If you felt that the broker should be first on this level, then you would choose right to left, and the broker would become first and the costumes is last. If I then click it again, the broker will return to the right hand side. If you want to move somebody up, I might decide I want to move the driver up this level and put them in front of costumes. You would hit the move up button, and if I move down, I'll put the driver down and after costumes. So those are those buttons there. Now, once you've created your Smartart, you might decide that you want to change the colors, and so there's a Change Colors button. Again, the color palettes are determined by your theme and your theme variant. So I'm going to just roll over the various options and see what they look like. And scroll down to see that there are more. So be aware there's various colors. Now also there are various styles. If I hit the drop down here and roll over certain ones, I can see what the various styles look like. So I'll go for this style here. You also might decide that the organization chart or the hierarchy diagram that you chose perhaps isn't one that you want to end up with. You can click the More button on the layouts and you can actually roll over the other options that were in the hierarchy group and you'll see how they look. And you might decide to change your mind as to which one you originally chose. But I'm going to stick with what I chose. And there's more layouts if you want more. And that's your Smartart. Now I'd like to add some animation to some of the objects that we've since added. And let's start with the Smartart. When I go to animations in the ribbon and I go to add an animation, and I might choose that I want to float in, so it floats in. And I might decide that I want to then have each level float in. So what I do is on the animation pane, I'll actually hit the drop down and I'll go into effect options because there are effect options that are unique to Smartart. So I'll go to Smartart Animation, and at the moment it floats in as one object, but I might hit the drop down here and decide actually I'll bring it in a level at a time. And OK. And see how each level now comes in? Or if I went back to effect options, I might decide to bring each branch in at a time. So you've got various options. So I'll go back into effect options and I'll actually leave it on by level one by one, and OK. And so each level is going to come in, but it's going to come in one by one. Of course, you would be advancing each shape by clicking your mouse or pressing the N for the next button.